In 1941, on a farm in Belarus, there was a teenage girl visiting her grandmother. Nazi troops came onto this farm in order to confiscate the cattle and crops. When the farm owners protested, the German troops assaulted this girl's grandmother and took their food anyways. This event started the flame of hatred in this young girl's heart and would ultimately prove to be a major thorn in the side of the Germans. This is the story of Zinaida Portnova, the youngest girl to earn the honorary title of Hero of the Soviet Union. Born in 1926 to a working-class family that had emigrated from Belarus to Leningrad, Zinaida was a fairly regular child in that era. While in the 7th grade, Zinaida went to her grandparents' farm in Belarus and was there when the Nazi forces invaded that area of the Soviet Union. This is where the previous events that I had mentioned had occurred. A year later, in 1942, Zinaida joined a group of other Belarusians in a resistance movement known as Komsomol. She became one of the group's so-called Young Avengers. Initially, her duties were simply helping spread Soviet literature and propaganda to the German-occupied areas of Belarus. Later on, she graduated to gathering intel on German troop movements, as well as gathering and sneaking weapons for Soviet soldiers and Soviet resistance fighters. As she gained more experience and credit within the resistance movement, she eventually received weapons and explosives training. Zinaida was tasked to help with some sabotage missions on infrastructure that had been taken by the Germans. These objectives were a large water pump, a power plant, and a brickworks that the Nazis were using to help them retain control of Belarusian territory. These 3 sabotage missions ultimately killed around 100 German soldiers. In 1943, Zinaida was working as a cook for German troops stationed in Obol, Belarus. In August 1943, Zinaida added a secret and deadly ingredient into the food meant for these German troops. With so many Germans falling violently ill, the Nazi officers thought that their Untermensch cooks were poisoning the food, and Zinaida was the most likely culprit. During interrogation, Zinaida professed her innocence and offered to eat the tainted food in order to prove that it wasn't contaminated. Since Zinaida didn't fall immediately ill, she was released. Being sickened by the poison, her resistance comrades helped to nurse her back to health. Since she was ill, Zinaida couldn't return to work, and her post-interrogation absence set up red flags to the Nazi officers. The hunt for Zinaida was on. Zinaida was sent away to avoid capture and began scout duties for another partisan unit. From late December 1943 through early January 1944, Zinaida had returned to Obol to infiltrate the same Nazi garrison that she had previously poisoned. Her goal was to find out why many missions of the Young Avengers had been failures, possibly looking for a rat, as well as to locate and contact fellow Young Avengers members. Since Zinaida had only been gone for 4 months, the troops in Obol quickly recognized her and she was captured. Now here's where the story gets a little shaky. There are conflicting reports on how Zinaida escaped and was eventually recaptured. The first version is that Zinaida was taken to the village of Goriani, where she was interrogated by the Gestapo. The Gestapo interrogator had left his pistol on the table. Zinaida then snatched the pistol and shot the interrogator to death. 2 German soldiers that heard the shots barged into the room, and she shot them too, and escaped through a window and ran into the woods. German patrols eventually captured her on the banks of a river while she was trying to make her escape. The second story of her escape was that the interrogator was upset, threatened to shoot Zinaida, and for some reason threw his pistol on the table. Capitalizing on this mistake, Zinaida took the pistol and fired on the interrogator. Zinaida then opened the door to the room and made Swiss cheese out of the guard in the hallway. Making her way into the courtyard, she killed the guard out there as well. Once she got to the road, she attempted to shoot the guard at the facility's entrance, and she was either out of ammo or the gun malfunctioned. The man she had just tried to kill took her alive. There was no way Zinaida was going to leave the Nazi captivity alive this time. Again, there are 2 accounts of how Zinaida was killed by the Germans. First is that Zinaida was tortured for information by the Gestapo, and was then driven out to the surrounding forest and executed by firing squad. The second story was that she was killed during the torture process. Both accounts say that she died on January 15th, 1944. No matter how she escaped or how she was killed, This normal girl had greatness thrust upon her, and she died a hero to her people. Her actions did not go unnoticed, and in 1958, Zinaida was posthumously awarded the title of Hero of the Soviet Union, making her one of 95 women to ever earn this title. She was also the youngest in history to earn this title. Zinaida also earned the Order of Lenin Award. In the village of Zuya, there is a plaque commemorating her, as well as monuments of her in Obol and Minsk. Zinaida proved to the world that love for your country and dedication to your countrymen can allow an average person to accomplish incredible things. Thank you all for watching, and I am sorry for the quality of the photos in this video. I've had people complain about the quality of these photos in the past, and since a lot of these events are older events, finding high quality photos that work well on large screen TVs is kind of difficult. So I apologize for that. These are the best quality photos I could find, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.